Everything stinks and smells like fish. I make a pukey face and gagging noise as I stare at the face of my best friend Sabine, filling up my phone screen. Her heavily lipsticked mouth puckers in a comical expression at my look of disgust. Need I remind you, Finnegan, that you are visiting a coastal fishing town? Where, gasp. She raises a hand to cover her mouth and does just that, gasping exaggeratedly before leaning in close to the camera so I get the view of a raised eyebrow and whispers, There are actually fish. Savvy cackles over the line, and I roll my eyes before glancing around, taking in the room full of loud, flannel-wearing patrons of the Fish and Hook Tavern. I'd arrived in Stoney Brook, Maine earlier this morning via Boston. Never having been to Maine for anything, I've come to this sleepy little coastal town to stage a peaceful protest at this weekend's Tall Ship Festival, an annual event that brings in hundreds of thousands of wooden boat and ship enthusiasts every July. No, I'm not protesting tall ships. I'm asserting my rights in response to the inhumane treatment of whales and sea life as an unintentional consequence of lobster fishing. A clause that, as an avid environmental activist, I feel is my duty to address the only way I know how, through peaceful protests to raise awareness. I suppose I could have staged the protest in Boston where I live, which is full of wharves and a huge fishing community, but when I heard that the Tall Ships Fest would draw in over 50,000 visitors, it seemed like the perfect location. Except that the stench of fish is so strong in this tiny town that it permeates the air in every nook and cranny with its overpowering odor. I have to fight my constant urge to plug my nose like a stubborn child might do when forced to eat Brussels sprouts. Even the bed quilt at the B&B I've booked for the weekend puts off the faint odor of herring and scrum. Nevertheless, I resolve to keep my eye on the prize and avoid getting distracted by anything but the efforts of this rally. With the help of social media and my network of active members of the group I founded, Peaceful Protesters for Environmental Change, or PPEC, we should have at least 30 people gathered along Stoney Brook's wharf and park tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. I take a sip of the Sailor Jerry's and Coke the bartender set in front of me, nearly sputtering from the high alcohol content in the drink. That's not something I'm used to getting in the big city. Yeah, I know that, Captain Obvious, but it doesn't help that I don't think anyone here even bothers to take a shower after their day on the boat before they come to the tavern. It's vile. I whisper this last part, surreptitiously looking around to ensure no one overhears me. As an activist, I make my share of enemies along the way. No need to get anyone riled up over my casual comments, too. My gaze lands on a table behind me where 4 guys, clearly locals and obviously fishermen, sit, and my eyes lock with one of the hottest men I've ever seen.